Welcome to the MBA News Digest webinar and podcast series. I'm Rodney Alsop, and I'm the founder of the MBA News Digest and your host for today's webinar. I'm joined by Trish, Tom, and Beth. All three of them were spearheaded the major redesign of their MBA program at Eastern Kentucky University. And I really do appreciate you all taking the time to share with us your experience and how it all happened, why it happened, and so forth. Now, let me introduce you to the News Digest for just a little bit, this podcast series. I created this webinar podcast series so that we could drill down on topics that are of interest to graduate program managers, graduate program faculty, and staff. Today, we'll have a somewhat structured conversation with our guest. At the same time, you'll be able to ask questions via the chat function. If you're on a laptop or desktop, place your mouse pointer at the bottom of the screen and you will see a chat button. If you are on a mobile device, then tap the top of your screen and you'll see a chat button. Now, feel free to ask a question anytime you want. When you ask a question, everyone that's logged in, right now we have 15 people on, they'll be able to see the question you're asking. Now, let me give you just a little bit of a warning. I'm a one-person show here. I'll be doing the interviewing, the advancing the slides, monitoring the chat Q&A. So it may take me a few minutes to see your question. If I miss it, at the end, I'll review all of the questions and answer any I did miss. Now, the webinar recording, we are recording this. It will be posted via YouTube, and the podcast audio portion will be posted and available on iTunes. Both will be available as a post on the MBA News Digest website, www.mbanewsdigest.com. You'll also receive an email letting you know when they are available. And one final point, all of you should be muted and all of your cameras should be turned off so that we're not distracting each other. Now, let me do just a little bit of a promotion about the MBA News Digest. Subscriptions to the email updates are free. It's curated emails. I pull together articles each day and each week and share those with subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, then help me grow the subscriber base and refer a colleague. A large subscriber base helps me attract sponsors, which in turn helps me provide the free services I'm providing, such as this webinar. Now, Thursday morning, I usually generate a program management article. It's directed at some aspect of program management. It's free. So let me know if you want to write an article or you have some idea that would be helpful to others. The webinars and podcast, please feel free to suggest a topic and to suggest guests. And if you need to contact me about anything, my email is rgalsop@mbanewsdigest.com. If you want to contact me asking any questions, making any suggestions. Now, before we get started, let me acknowledge that support for today's program comes from International Study Programs. They are in the business of helping B schools change student lives through international travel and education. Now, when visiting their website a few months ago, I discovered a new word that they have posted there. It's ungoogleable. Now, that's a mouthful. I can't imagine a better word to describe what they do. They provide ungoogleable experiences for their students and your students. Now, when I was a program manager, I worked with ISP, and I think they did a great job for us. So learn more about ISP at www.studyprograms.com. Now, let me share with you our objectives and how we're going to do things today. I'm wanting our guests to answer these 6 questions: where, why, who, how, when, and what. And we've set up a few PowerPoint slides that will move us through these 6 questions. Now, feel free, if these 6 questions don't touch every point that you would like to have answered, feel free to send us a chat message and we'll try to answer that question. So, Beth, Tom, Trish, you want to start it off and tell us just a little bit about Eastern?
Yes, this is Trish. I'll talk just a little bit about kind of where we are, our size, roughly 16,600, growing, just a little bit, a few hundred from year to year in recent years. Our B-School enrollments are in the neighborhood of 1,200. And as of last year, our MBA program enrollment was 30. This year, I'm pleased to say it's more, but that is as of last year. We have 38 B-School faculty. We're made up of 2 departments, marketing, I said it backwards, didn't I? Management, marketing, and international business. Has 21 faculty members, and then accounting, finance, and information systems has 17 faculty members. Those faculty members teach primarily undergraduate classes. Some of them teach entirely in the undergraduate program. 14 of those faculty are in our MBA program. We teach this newly designed curriculum that we're going to be talking about. We are an AACSB accredited school, reaffirmation just this year. We are part of the College of Business and Technology, made up of 2 schools. And as indicated on the slide, we are a semester system.
Okay. Did being subdivided into the College of Business, being subdivided into 2 schools, pose any problems on this curriculum change?
It did not pose problems. We took great care to make this an interdisciplinary master's program, even to the extent of our prefix, our rubric for our MBA courses. They are all MBA 800, MBA 811. So we want ownership of the entire School of Business, not an individual department. So we were very intentional about moving that direction as we did this redesign.
Okay. Let's talk about the why for just a second. What were some of those reasons for making this change?
That is a great place to start, Rodney. This is Beth, and I will be walking us through the why and the how and giving a lot of background on what led us to need and want to do this redesign. So at EKU back in the 1990s, early 2000s, we had an exceptionally strong MBA program. That was before the time that I arrived. Actually, Tom, who is with us, is one of our graduates of our MBA program back when it was really strong and it was thriving, as were many MBA programs throughout the country. And as we progressed through the early 2000s, 2010s, we saw a decline in our MBA enrollment numbers. There were a lot of reasons for this. One was the external environment was changing. This was a trend that we saw not only in our own MBA program, but in MBA programs across the country. The demands from employers were changing, and MBA programs were not keeping up, frankly. There was still the push on heavy technical skills, whereas employers still wanted those technical skills, but started demanding the soft skills as well, the critical and creative thinking. And so we saw our numbers decline. We knew we needed an updated program. We needed our curriculum updated. We also ran into some problems here with leadership. We had an MBA director that moved out of the position for a number of reasons in our internal environment. We did not replace that position, which left our program really without leadership or without the same level of leadership that it had seen previously. And so the school finally saw the need for a complete redesign of the MBA program. When approximately 4 years ago, a team was put together. It was not the three of us. I was on the previous team that was put together 4 years ago to try and redesign the MBA program. That redesign failed because what that group did, the approach that we took is we said, let's try and just put a patch on our existing program. And that was not enough. We made some small changes here and there. We changed some of the faculty that were teaching the different courses. We moved to a hybrid format instead of a fully face-to-face format. That did not work. Since then, our students have told us, many of our students have said, I wish that we had more face-to-face classes. We also, from the faculty standpoint, we did not see teaching hybrid as a competitive advantage for us. At Eastern Kentucky University, the focus is placed on really good teachers. The faculty that are here are talented in the classroom. They're good at it. They have the education and the experience to really deliver a meaningful message to students. And when we moved into that hybrid format, we were losing that competitive advantage.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, this team was put together, Trish, Tom, and I, and that's the process that we really want to dive deeply into on the next few slides is what this team has done over the past 2 years. And so far it has been successful, and we hope and believe that it will continue to be successful moving forward.
Okay, let me ask one question here. Did you just completely throw out the old program with this redesign and start, perhaps call it a greenfield startup?
We did, yes, we did. We took a look at the current program that we had, and it was a good program for 10 or 15 years ago. It was strong courses, it was talented faculty. There were a lot of pluses about it if we were in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And so when we tried to do the redesign 4 years ago, by putting a patch on that program and making some minor changes, we realized that is not going to work. If we want to move back into a successful MBA program, we have got to start from the ground up.
Okay. So this do jump to the who and the how here for a second.
So this is the exciting part for us. This is getting into the meat of our process of what we did. So the dean came to me 2 summers ago, and he said, "You are the only faculty member that was on the previous redesign committee, the one that failed and moved to the hybrid format." He said, we all know that redesign didn't work the way we thought it would. Would you be willing to chair a new team to do a redesign? And so I thought about it, and I came back to him and I said, yes, as long as we can start from the ground up and build a completely new program. We wanted our dean on board. We wanted to have a lot of leeway to be as creative as we needed to be. So we wanted that okay from him prior to starting this process. So he did give us that okay to move forward. And so Tom, Trish, and I got together. And I will say right off the bat, one of our lessons learned is to really take care in the team that's put together to do a redesign like this. Tom, Trish, and I have worked very well together. We have complemented each other well in that one person's strengths tend to be another person's weaknesses, and so on and so forth. And we've really challenged and pushed each other in all the right ways to make this redesign successful. So the three of us got together, and we started 2 years ago in the fall, and we chose to take on a design thinking approach. We said, let's scrap the old program and let's go to the people who are going to be our users. We actually took a lot of care in even defining who our users were. Were our users the students who are going to be participating in our program? Were the users the employers who would be employing our graduates? We knew we had to do a lot of research, and we wanted to take on this design thinking approach and involve prototyping and building, because we were building something, right? So in that first fall, we treated that fall as our research, our data gathering time. You can see on the slide a couple of the things that we did. We did bring in a design thinking consultant, Gary Coombs, to work with the three of us and make sure we understood design thinking and what it meant and how we could use it for the redesign of our MBA program. We had Lou Lindsay come and work with us. He's the former director of industrial design at General Electric. And not only did he work with us for a while, we've used him as a mentor throughout this process. We also had our own Matt Evans, our EKU Business Advisory Board chair. He played a role in these conversations as we built the program. In addition to that, we benchmarked Kentucky MBA programs. We wanted to know what our peers, our regional peers, were doing and offering and what was working. We also wanted to benchmark against the best and the brightest. So we went to the Association of American Universities and looked into their MBA programs to see what was going on, the past, the present, and the future, and where different programs were heading. We also wanted to look internally. So we talked with our current EKU MBA students. We did a survey of our current MBA students to see what they were liking, what they weren't liking, what was working, recommendations that they had. We also talked with our EKU undergraduate business students to find out what they would expect from an MBA program. And we also wanted to talk with some undergraduate non-business students. So we did a focus group with our Student Government Association on campus. The program that we wanted to build, we wanted to build a program that took in undergraduates as well as working individuals with a variety of experiences. One of the problems with our old MBA program design was that there were so many prerequisite courses to get into the MBA program that you almost had to be a business undergraduate in order to get into the MBA program. If you weren't, before you were admitted to the MBA program or could take an MBA courses, there were a series of business undergrad courses that you had to take, which A, cost a lot of money, and B, took a lot of time. The new program that we wanted to build, we wanted to open the door to a variety of backgrounds. So for example, the night nurse who wants to work their way up to charge nurse and wants to move into management. We don't want to exclude that person. We want that person with that background in our program. So because of that desire that we had, we wanted to talk to our non-business students as well. Of course, we talked with our business faculty, as they're an important stakeholder in this, as well as local and regional business executives. So we did all of that in the first semester that we worked on this.
Okay, so what I heard you say was, first of all, you had top-down support, and that was important. The second thing I heard you say is that there were only 3 of you on this design team.
Yes.
And that made it a bit easier to manage.
It did. It did. Again, in putting the 3 of us together, it was a good team design because we all brought something different to the table, yet could all work really well together. We got along really well, but yet we knew when and how to disagree with each other in the right ways to build a strong program. Okay. So the logistical coordination, things like setting meeting times, having discussions, sending emails, having 3 as the number did work well for us. Okay. However, going back to team design, 3 is not necessarily the magic number. You have to look at what are the different skill sets that you need on this team and how many people will it take to get those skill sets on that team. For us, it was 3. Okay. But for a different group of people or a different university, that number might change.
Well, I think, this is Tom, I think another value that we of this group was that each of us had a passion for the MBA being redesigned, because we knew it could be a great program, and we wanted to make a great program again. So just having a committee of people to redesign something is not enough. You have to have people that come with having thought about what would a new MBA program look like. So each of us came to the table with what those non-negotiables were. For me, one of them was the prereqs. When we look at the Kentucky MBA programs and the AAU programs, a lot of them have done away with those prereqs. So even though, and I think, one of Tricia's was compressed courses, and we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. We came to the table with some ideas about what we think we would like this to look like, and sure enough, that was supported by what was happening across the country. That wasn't isolated or in a vacuum. It was, this is what is taking place across the country with the top programs, not only the programs in Kentucky, but the top programs across the country, where you see these dramatic changes to some tired programming.
Okay. Let's go ahead and jump to the when. When did this start?
So it started 2 years ago in the fall. So fall of 2016 is when we started. And that first semester, as I said, was all about our data gathering. We wanted to see what the students and the business executives and the faculty, et cetera, what their opinions were about what they wanted in an MBA program. We decided that fall, that our goal within this team was to build an MBA program that was targeted at any manager in any department, at any level, in any company, in any industry. So for example, what we mean by that is the human resource management class that our curriculum includes. We did not want that class to train an HR manager, because not everyone in our cohort that we brought in wants to be an HR manager, but any manager in any department at any level in any company in any industry needs to know something about managing human resources.
Right. Okay.
And that's true across the board with finance, accounting, marketing, et cetera. And so that was the conclusion at the end of fall 2016 from all of the research that we had done. And from there, we felt like we could move forward and really build the program. So spring of 2017, we worked on building the program. By summer of 2017, and by building the program, I mean building the curriculum and some of the policies that we'll share here in a few minutes. By summer of 2017, we at least had our prototype built. And we were ready to start sharing it with people, getting more feedback as per the design process tells us. So we spent a few months doing that. We shared it with faculty. And then by fall of 2017, we were ready to begin sending our redesigned curriculum and program through all of the authority channels that had to approve the new program. I'm sure our university is not unlike others in that there are a series of committees and groups that a redesign such as this has to work its way through, starting with the school of business, the departments in the school of business, going all the way up through faculty senate, provost, president, board of regents. That process at our university takes a good 6 months.
Okay.
So we needed to get that started in the fall of 2017 so that we could be finished by the spring of 2018, which we were. We officially got approval from the Board of Regents in June. And then we could launch our first cohort, which we will be doing in this semester in fall of 2018.
Okay. How important, in your all's opinion, is it to have called this a prototype when you started rolling it out to the faculty to take a look at versus saying, here's our program?
Yes, for us, it was absolutely critical. And with our own business faculty, we are still calling it a prototype. One of the premises that we worked from throughout this entire process is we are going to put a lot of research, a lot of data collection, and we're going to build something that we think is going to be great. But we are also open to understanding that we need to launch this and be flexible as to what went as planned, what didn't go as planned. We plan on collecting a lot of feedback this semester and beyond from our students, from our faculty, to continue refining this MBA program, which the refinement process will take probably at least a year, if not longer. So having a plan, but also being open to that flexibility, it has been critical for us.
Okay. let's go ahead and talk about what happened and hit some of the highlights here.
Yes. So we have a few highlights of our program that we are extremely proud of. We will share those, and then we will go into the nitty-gritty of our curriculum and share that as well. So as you heard Tom talk about, one of the things that we did is we got rid of our prerequisite courses for entrance because it was blocking out too many people. There are too many schools, both our own Kentucky peers as well as across the nation, that have gotten rid of prerequisites, and they've made it easier for a variety of backgrounds to enter an MBA program. So our new program has no prerequisite courses. Instead, what we are including is something that we are calling MBA Boot Camp, which is a 4-day experience that is actually going to be launched this coming Thursday. So we are getting ready for that. It's Thursday through Sunday. It is required by all MBA students prior to enrolling in any MBA courses. And the boot camp is designed to, A, provide a great deal of content for our students, because it is replacing the prereq courses. So we have content sessions that are being taught by the faculty that are sharing information with students about what they need to know prior to getting into the courses, the MBA courses.
Okay.
And B, it is a team building and a culture building experience for students as well. We want students to use each other, use their peers as comrades going through this process. So we want them to talk about what they're learning in class. We want them to study together. We want them to brainstorm together. And so the way that that's going to happen is if right off the bat we build in this culture of working as a team. So we have a series of team building activities during boot camp as well. So you'll also see in our highlights that we have a highly interdisciplinary curriculum. We have 15 courses that focus on both technical skill development and soft skill development. We pulled this from mainly the business executives and companies that we talked to. They said, we want them to have the background technical skills that they need. They said, I don't want to have to teach someone basic accounting, for example. But there's other technical material that the companies actually said, we would rather teach or train our employees in a specific IT program, for example, or something specific to our company. What we really need is we need critical and creative thinkers. And so we're really pushing that in the soft skill development throughout the curriculum. We have compressed courses. All of our courses, except for one elective that the students get to take, but all of our other courses are 8-week courses. At our university, we have 17-week semesters. What we heard from our MBA students was that as they got to week 14, 15, 16, 17 in the semester, they felt like the professor was struggling with what else to include in the course. Again, that's what our students were saying. And so because of that, we said we can include more content in our program as a whole and more topics if we have 8-week compressed courses versus 17-week courses. So we do have compressed courses. That was a trend we saw across the country as well. We have flexible scheduling. This may vary from university to university, but here at EKU, our MBA students, like Tom just said, many of them had jobs or currently have jobs. Many of them have family responsibilities and other life responsibilities. So all of our classes are offered in the evening. We also offer 3 different schedules for our students. Now, the curriculum is the same in each of the schedules. It just is the speed at which our students want to complete the program. So we have a 2-year schedule, we have a 3-year schedule, and we have a 4-year schedule. So in the 2-year schedule, at any given time, students are taking 2 classes. In the 4-year schedule, at any given time, students are taking 1 class. And then the 3-year schedule is in between those 2. We also have a really neat design in that we have stackable certificates in our program. So the way we designed the curriculum is, instead of talking about courses that we wanted to include in the program, we just talked about content. We said, let's go back again, going down to the very foundation. What are the skills? What is the content that we want our students to know? And we made a great big list of all of those ideas. And then we started grouping the content together in ways that it made sense to form classes. So once we had the classes or the courses designed, then we said, can we further organize these courses into more groups or smaller groups where they start to make sense? So what we did was we have 4 courses per certificate. So our first certificate is Foundations of Business Thought, which includes some communication courses and some basic quantitative courses. Once students finish those 4 courses, they earn a certificate. The good thing about this is if a student comes to us and they're hesitant about getting their MBA, perhaps they're even hesitant about getting their MBA at EKU for some reason, we can say, come in, go through 4 courses with us. At the end of 4 courses, we're sure you're going to be happy and you want to stay for the rest of the degree, but in case you don't, or other life issues come up that you can't continue the program, you don't walk away empty-handed. You at least walk away with a certificate, a university-approved certificate. The second certificate we offer is Technical Skills of Financial and People Management, which includes courses in accounting, finance, human resource management, and leadership and organizational behavior. And then our third certificate that we offer is Transformation of Inputs to Outputs, which is it's moving from an idea that a company has all the way through actual design, production, marketing, distribution, to that final product on the shelf or the service that's offered by a company. And then, of course, the last 2 courses in our program, those are our capstone courses, and when you complete those, you've completed the entire degree. Throughout the program, we have a lot of real-world application. Each semester that the students are here, they have a 2-day design thinking seminar. So incorporating the courses that they're currently taking into the design thinking process. How can you use design thinking, for example, in accounting? How can you use design thinking in human resource management? We have guest speakers. We have 2 different capstones. We have an in the classroom capstone. We also have what we call our impact capstone, which is a real world application that students go out, they work with companies, they work with government in the region, using the content that they've learned in the MBA program.
Given these highlights, let's jump over to what happened in terms of faculty approval.
Yes. So in the start of the second year of this process, so that would have been fall of 2017, when we had our initial prototype of the program designed, we called a 2-hour faculty meeting to share everything that we had learned and built. We were walking into a faculty that was a little divided on the MBA program. Again, the last few years of the MBA program had been a little rough just due to some leadership challenges that we faced and low student enrollments, et cetera. So, we had some faculty that said, should we even have an MBA program? And then we had other faculty that said, I can't wait to see this completely redesigned and it's going to be great. So we were all across the board, but we had an excellent turnout of our faculty at this meeting, and we shared everything with them, and we said, before we move this redesign through any more of the approval process across the university, we want to get our faculty buy-in. Our faculty are important stakeholders in this. And so we did a formal vote of our school business graduate faculty, and we had 16 of 22 that were in favor of supporting the redesign and moving forward. As you can see, the quote that's on the screen is exactly what we had the faculty vote on. I will say again, we have an amazing group of faculty. At that meeting, we had 16 of 22 that were in favor. I'd be confident in saying I think now that number would even be higher, since we've seen this redesign move through the approval processes. We've had our faculty jump on board. They've participated in different committees that we've had to put together in the past few months to really turn this into a reality. And again, they're all of our faculty are focused. They're student focused. They're focused on teaching, and they really just want to offer the best student experience that we as a school business can offer.
And this is also important from the standpoint of when we gave this presentation. It was, we're going to lay out this program for you for the next 45 minutes. We want you to hear what we've put together over this past year, and we're looking for critical feedback in the sense of what have we missed that we need to work on the next month or so, or 2 months, before we start taking this through the process of getting it approved at the different levels of the college and the university, and ultimately to the Board of Regents. So this meeting was important to kind of find out where there are gaps in our thinking that we had missed, because after a while this starts to look like wallpaper.
I understand.
And so, and we got some good feedback about things at the edges that could be improved upon, and we incorporated those things. So that was very helpful, but to not make this ask us questions as we go along. We didn't want that. We're going to present it, write down your questions on a piece of paper, and then for the last 45 minutes to an hour, come at us. And, we went in there with we expect criticism of this, both warranted and unwarranted criticism, but particularly the warranted criticism we're looking for. What have we missed?
Okay.
Why won't this program be as effective as it could be otherwise? Help us find those gaps. And so they were very helpful in making sure that we found the gaps, and then we went back and plugged those holes and then moved it forward.
Okay. Let us move on and take a quick look at the total experience. Here is your first certificate program.
Yes. So I'll just walk us through the curriculum fairly quickly, and some of this we've already touched on. So the first, what you see on the screen is for a student who is coming in and under the 2-year plan. Again, we have that 2-year, 3-year, and 4-year plan.
Sure.
But if they come in the 2-year plan, which is our fastest completion plan, the first half of the term, they're going to take technical communication and quantitative thinking courses. Again, these are 8-week courses. And then the second half of the term, they're going to take an interactive communications course, which is non-sales selling, persuasion, negotiation, influence, those sorts of topics, as well as a big data analytics course. 2 days during that semester, then the students also participate in their first design thinking seminar, which teaches them the basic process. When they complete that semester, or those courses that you see on the screen, they've completed the first certificate, and they can move on to the second certificate.
Okay, let me ask a question, 2 questions here. One is the design thinking. Who is teaching that?
It will be an outside speaker. For this one, we're looking to someone with more of an academic background, because it is the theory of design thinking and some of the basics of design thinking.
Okay.
Then jumping ahead to the other certificates, you're going to see MBA 825 Design Thinking 2, which is the application. Okay. And our goal for that one is that, the student will take it 3 times. They will take 825 3 times. We want a different outside person with more of a practical perspective teaching each of those 3. That's our goal.
Okay, so you're not afraid to reach out outside of your existing faculty to bring someone in with the expertise to do what is needed.
Yes, we looked at what do students need, and a good bit of that we have the faculty resources to handle. Design thinking, we don't have a design thinking expert on faculty.
Okay. 2 questions just came in. One from Patrick about the certificates. Do you expect students to just stop after 1 certificate or 2 certificates?
Yeah, that's a great question, and those were conversations that we had. The students that we have coming into our first cohort, they are all planning, to the best of our knowledge, on completing the entire MBA program. Most people looking for an MBA program are looking for just that, the full MBA degree. Now, might a company come to us and say, we have a set of employees that need some basics in business and we're interested in paying for them to only get certificate one? We might. And honestly, as a university, we're open to that because we know this is such a great program that we have built that if we can get them in the door, many of those students will go on and complete the full degree anyway.
Okay. One other question that came in, could you give us a very high-level view of how you're defining design thinking?
Sure. Design thinking kind of came out of Stanford, is that correct?
Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford's D School. And design thinking is a methodology used to solve complex problems and find desirable solutions through a iteration of what they call empathy, research, ideation, prototyping, testing. I think that's it, isn't it?
Okay, so what happened then is you use design thinking to design this program, but you've also included design thinking as a part of the curriculum so that the students will experience this as well.
Yes, and the reason is we had so many demands from employers to have students graduate as more critical and creative thinkers. And design thinking is one methodology that is popular right now, that is a growing trend, that teaches exactly that. It is a creative and critical thinking process.
Okay.
So when you think about, go back to what the MBA was 20 years ago versus today, is that when, and I earned my MBA in the late 90s, is that once I had that MBA in my hand, I could get a job anywhere. I mean, that was a highly valued degree, but slowly that deteriorated over time, not just here, but across the country, because MBA students were not thinking critically, thinking creatively, solving complex problems, and able to communicate those complex problems in terms of a solution. And so that's, okay. So you see the design thinking as an answer to the problem that MBA programs have recently found themselves with, which is how do you take complex problems, how do you evaluate them critically and creatively, and how do you prototype those problems, how do you test those problems, and then how do you arrive at the optimal solution?
Okay. So this is the third certificate and the third design thinking course. Any comments here?
It's fairly self-explanatory, again, going from the idea that an employer or company comes up with and turning that idea into a reality. And then as Trish said, the design thinking 3 is the second application design thinking course.
Okay. And then the completion is the last term?
That is correct. We have 2 capstones. MBA 841, the business capstone, is an in the classroom capstone that they take, so a case-based capstone. 842 is an impact capstone where they're going to go out and work with a local government, a company, someone in the region to really have an impact, a positive impact based on what they've learned in the program. We also offer an interdisciplinary elective. We wanted to give our students some opportunity to tailor their MBA experience to their own career. So for example, if they work in the sports industry, they might want to take a master's level course in sports management. If they work in a hospital, they might want to take a master's level health sciences course. So that elective gives them the opportunity to tailor their program. And then, of course, we have the last design thinking seminar, which is the third application of design thinking.
Just a couple of questions. I didn't see anything international or global as a standalone course.
That is correct. Having an international component is highly important. We had a number of discussions with our faculty overall, I mean, even outside of this team, on how to incorporate an international component. Given the demands that our students have with their jobs and with their own life responsibilities, many of our faculty were concerned about requiring an international trip or an international experience of some kind. Because of that, we decided two things. The first is all of our courses do involve discussions of international application of that course's material. Okay. So students will be getting a consistent dose of international business. The second thing is, within this elective that you see in the completion of the MBA degree, what we hope to do in the future as our numbers grow is to be able to offer an optional international business course that could incorporate a trip overseas, a business trip overseas. Okay. And that would be, if a student was interested in that, then it could fit in as their elective.
What about switching directions just a little bit, what kind of technology platform are you using? Are you doing any blended or distance learning in this?
It is all face-to-face. As we mentioned earlier, our strength is in the classroom. And that's what our students said they would like to see more of. And so it is face-to-face. That's not to say we do not use technology. We, of course, have Blackboard is our learning management system, and many of the classes will have some online materials and simulations and various activities. So we do use technology, but not in a web blended format. It's all face-to-face classroom time.
To tackle another question that one of our attendees posed is, were there any concerns from the faculty about dropping the prereqs?
No, I don't remember there being a lot of blowback from that. Do you?
There wasn't. There weren't a lot of concerns about dropping the prereqs. Our faculty as a whole recognize that we are losing a lot of students because we are basically requiring them to be business undergrad majors. And so that wasn't something that was a major challenge for us.
And they recognize that we have this, 90% or more of our students they're already out in the private sector.
Okay.
They're already working. And so I think there was a recognition that that's being overdone.
Okay. Let's talk about the overall marketing of this program in 30 seconds or less. How have you messaged or marketed this new program?
Well, our Beth mentioned a few minutes ago that we have a kind of a set of leadership teams, and one of them is recruitment and marketing. And so they have been very active in social media. And that has been our primary push this summer, because remember, Board of Regents approved in June and we couldn't advertise until June. Yeah. So social media has been our primary focus. We're looking at, long term, our goal is to have a billboard here in the area. And they have some other ideas in mind. But our web pages and our
television media push.
Television, yes, we want a TV commercial. Yes, we do. So, we have some longer term goals, but for the short term, it has been the social media, and it has worked very well.
How many on Thursday? How many are starting the intake?
We don't have a firm. It's either 23 or 24. I'm waiting on a confirmation.
Okay, all right.
Which
so
is
been pretty successful in rolling this out then.
We're excited about 23, 24 folks entering the program. Yes.
Okay.
Again, considering we've had about 6 weeks to advertise this, that's pretty brilliant. But our target cohorts moving forward would be a minimum of 30 students.
And I think that's important for the participants in this webinar to understand is that, last fall we started pushing this out to our faculty, starting getting their feedback, because at least at Eastern, you have 4 or 5 significant steps of approval that you have to go through to get this to the end, including it has to be approved by the Board of Regents.
Okay.
And so when are those approval meetings taking place? What are those target dates? If you fall behind for some reason, what's the delay? How does the delay impact? And ultimately, how does it impact your ability to advertise? So our getting this approved by the Board of Regents in June versus in April or a previous month, to get 23, 24 students in this first cohort is quite remarkable.
Let me jump to the faculty course load here for a second and talk about how you've managed the faculty assignments here.
Well, what we've done is it's not us going out and finding the faculty. It's these faculty coming to us and saying we want to be part of this change. And so I am teaching the 3 credit hour capstone course. We have 3 that are helping with the boot camp that's taking place this week, starting this Thursday. We have 4 that are helping to organize and facilitate the design thinking seminar, and we have 6 that are involved in the capstone and the mentoring components of the MBA. But all of these faculty are in addition involved in, like Trish said, we have committees about external relations, advertising, marketing, curriculum,
admissions. And retention.
Okay.
So those 14 faculty, those same 14 faculty are doing double duty in a sense, not only helping with the academic side and the mentoring side and the design thinking and all those pieces, but they're also helping to ensure that the day-to-day bureaucratic activities and the selling and the marketing and all those pieces, how do we admit students? All those pieces they're working on together.
Okay.
And Rodney, just to clarify, the reason we had to have those 14 MBA faculty so involved in this program is because most of our courses taught by faculty at EKU are 3 FTEs.
Right.
3 FTEs. Our MBA courses, because they are compressed courses, they are only 2 FTEs. So our biggest pushback from the university was we cannot give 1 FTE release to any faculty for this. And so we promised that it would be fair and measurable in making up that last FTE.
Another question that was posed is, was there pushback from the faculty going from 3 to 2?
From our own business faculty, no. From the faculty at the rest of the university, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That got caught up in faculty senate. That was a concern that our faculty senate had. Our school of business, our school of business at the university is on a 3-3 course load. Most of the other colleges at the university are on a 4-4 course load.
Okay.
So having a faculty member in the school of business who's already teaching a 3-3, then have a course that does not carry the full FTE weight of a 3-3 course load, we did get some pushback from the university on that.
What did you learn from all of this?
What did we not learn? You can see some of the points that we wanted to raise on the screen, and Tom and Trish, please jump in at any time on this. This was a lot of work to do. Again, much care needs to be taken into the team that's put together because Tom, Trish, and I worked so well on this. It's also important to involve your faculty as a whole when possible. Again, we had the meeting where we got the whole faculty on board. Since that meeting in fall of 2017, our amazing faculty have gotten involved in a number of other ways on different committees, as Trish talked about. So it is a lot of work, and you have to be dedicated before you start it. We had to have great communication. We needed to know when to push back at each other in the right ways, when to question each other, when to agree. So coming in open-minded, being willing to prototype, which is, again, that part of the design thinking process, what to stand firm on and what to be flexible on was really important.
And communication, not just within the team, but also the team in communication with the dean. Here's where we are.
Okay.
What do you think about this? And then with the provost and with lots of different parties.
Well, and also when we're in an organization of shared governance. This is not like in the marketplace. Bill walks and says, "Hey, I want y'all to start putting an MBA together, or you're fired." We don't have that kind of. We don't have those pressure points. So, in a model of shared governance, you are going to meet with resistance for reasons that are legitimate, and you're going to meet with resistance for reasons that are, frankly, petty or that are not legitimate. But you have to be, and that's why the group is important, to recognize that we are going to run into that resistance, and we need to treat all that resistance fairly and equally, and be consistent in how we attack and implement any changes that we're going to make.
Okay, Tom, that's a great way to wrap this up, in saying that you all have done a marvelous job with this program and in designing a lot of effort, and you've shared a lot of information today with all of the attendees. So I want to go ahead and wrap this up with announcing the next News Digest webinar, which will be selecting companies and designing engagements when offering project-based experiential learning. Jordan Levy, he's the founder and executive director of CapSource, will be with me on September the 20th. So please look for that email in your inbox and sign up for that. And then a little housekeeping here. First of all, thank you for attending. I had about 21 attendees on this particular session. Special thanks to you, Tom, Beth, Trish, for sharing your knowledge and time today. And all of you will receive a request to complete a brief survey. You will receive an email letting you know when the YouTube recording is available and when the audio podcast is available. And as always, you can email me at rgalsop@mbanewsdigest.com. And I hope all of you have a great day. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.